The theater was buzzing with restless energy as the lights dimmed, the familiar Britain's Got Talent stage glowing with its shimmering backdrop, waiting for the next dreamer to step forward. When an 18-year-old contestant walked out, there was something in their shy smile, something in the way their trembling hands gripped the microphone, that made the audience lean in a little closer, sensing that this was not going to be just another audition. At first, the judges exchanged curious glances, expecting nerves, maybe even doubt, but what they didn't expect was the extraordinary voice that was about to erupt from such a young soul. The contestant introduced themselves softly, barely above a whisper, and the crowd hushed as Simon leaned forward, his eyebrows raised with his trademark skepticism. But the moment the first note rang through the theater, everything changed. It wasn't just singing. It was storytelling wrapped in pure emotion, a sound so powerful it seemed to echo straight into the hearts of every person in the room. The audience gasped, some with tears already forming, and the judges, known for their often stoic expressions, sat frozen as though struck by lightning. Every note seemed to paint a picture, every rise and fall of the voice felt like a confession of years of hidden pain and unspoken dreams, and suddenly, the stage wasn't just a stage anymore, it was a sanctuary where an 18-year-old poured out their soul in front of the world. As the performance carried on, the silence in the room was deafening, not because of indifference, but because no one dared breathe too loudly, afraid they might shatter the fragile magic unfolding before them. The contestant's voice soared higher, defying expectations, breaking boundaries, and leaving the audience clinging to every lyric as if it were a lifeline. Amanda Holden's hand covered her mouth, her eyes wide and glistening, while Alesha Dixon leaned forward with tears brimming, visibly moved by the sheer vulnerability on display. Bruno Tonioli, usually so flamboyant and expressive, sat utterly still, his face filled with awe, while even Simon Cowell, the man known worldwide for his harsh critiques and guarded emotions, couldn't hide the shock etched across his face. It was rare to see him speechless, rarer still to see his eyes soften the way they did in that moment. The young singer's journey through the song felt like a storm and a sunrise all at once, raw, painful, beautiful, and triumphant. Each crescendo felt like a scream for freedom, each gentle whisper like a fragile plea for understanding. When the final note rang out, hanging in the air like a prayer unanswered yet complete, the theater erupted. The audience was on their feet, clapping, cheering, some crying uncontrollably, and for a moment, the entire world seemed to stand still inside that theater. The reaction from the judges was unlike anything seen before. Amanda's voice cracked as she called it one of the most emotional performances she had ever witnessed on the BGT stage. Alesha admitted that she was completely undone, that the voice had touched something deep inside her she didn't even know was waiting to be moved. Bruno leapt up, hands in the air, struggling to find words big enough to capture what had just happened, calling it not just a performance but a revelation, a reminder of why shows like this exist, to give voices like this a stage. And then there was Simon. The audience held their breath, knowing his words carried the most weight. He paused, he leaned forward, his voice quieter than usual but filled with conviction as he said he hadn't heard a voice like this in years. He spoke about honesty, about truth, about how at only 18, this singer had managed to connect in a way that artists spend decades chasing. He admitted he was speechless, and for Simon Cowell to confess that, the magnitude of the moment could not be overstated. The crowd roared in agreement, and the atmosphere reached fever pitch as one thought lingered in everyone's mind: could this be the performance that changes everything for this young singer? As the contestant stood there on stage, trembling not from nerves but from the overwhelming response, tears streamed down their face as they realized what had just happened. Their dream, once too fragile to even speak aloud, had suddenly come alive before millions. The world had seen them, heard them, and embraced them. The judges rose from their seats in a standing ovation, their applause echoing through the theater like thunder, and in that moment, the contestant was no longer just an unknown 18-year-old but a star whose light had finally been uncovered. The performance was replayed over and over in the hearts of those who witnessed it live, destined to spread far beyond the walls of the theater, into homes and hearts across the nation and around the world. It was the kind of moment that reminds everyone why Britain's Got Talent is more than just a competition, it's a stage where lives change, where voices that might have gone unheard find the power to inspire millions. And on that night, in that single unforgettable performance, one teenager proved that sometimes the most extraordinary gifts are hidden in the quietest souls, waiting for the right moment to take the world's breath away.